have such an amazing capacity to sing legato. In other words, the joining of one note to another in a smooth way, and to create, therefore, pathos and attention in a public that is listening to you. What's technically behind legato singing? Can you explain that for us a little bit?
Oh, gosh, that goes back to the very first lessons that you have when you talk about consonants being clothespins on the clothesline that you're hanging.
No, let's explain that. Because,
yeah.
So in other words, if the clothesline is the vowels.
The clothesline is the sound, right, and the clothespins that are the consonants.
Yes.
So the idea is that the line continues despite, what it is that you're trying to say. On the other hand, we want to pronounce clearly. So the coordination of all of these things takes decades to really master it. I'm still working on it. It's still a work in progress. But because you want the expression of the text, but you still want to shape the phrase. And for me, phrases have a very strong visual element. In fact, everything for me is visual. So I can see, it's almost like a mountain range. And in advance of a phrase, I'll know what the shape wants to be. And then the other thing I think that people don't teach and don't talk about enough, and I learned from one pianist actually a long time ago, is the concept of tension in the phrase. And it's a pulling. It's not even easy to describe, frankly, but it's a pulling through a phrase that gives a sense of tension, and that's what drags our hearts into the whole idea of expression. Because a perfectly sung line has a different experience altogether. That's more of a pristine clarity, but if you put tension into a line, then suddenly it's in your gut. It's for the audience. I'm saying they're going to feel it. Mm-hmm. So all of these things play into the legato, and then the idea is to have your throat be not involved. Is to really have it be between the breath and resonance, and to try and take this out of it.
Can you really explain that? What does that mean? How does the breath work, and how does the resonance and your throat? What's the mechanism?
It's about efficiency. It's about singing in the most efficient way possible, so that you're not tired. And the breath and the support are the most crucial elements of all, because without them, you're going to be exhausted in 5 minutes. And then the resonance is what creates a sound which will carry, again, without you using too much muscle and too much effort, which, again, you can do when you're 22, and then, after years, the muscles just give out. They get thicker, and they get tired, and they just say, we really, and then you get a wobble. And so that's the resonance part. And Schwarzkopf said, one of the crucial thing, she said, and somebody, Michel Seneschal said this to me. I learned so much from my colleagues, that you have to sing with head voice. You have to have head voice in your sound.
What does that mean?
That head voice is the hooty, high partials, the high resonance in the voice. So, whoo, as opposed to the chesty, darker sound. Yeah. And if you always have that, some threads of head voice in your sound, then you're a bit safer. If there's spin, if the vibrato's fast, the minute you feel too much weight in the voice, then you're in danger, really, of doing something that was going to shorten your life.